Let's start a business, they said, on their honeymoon. Let's turn our passion into a business. What's it like starting a business with your partner? A good idea? Terrible work-life balance? Our next guest, Matt Evans, did just that. Listen now to see how it all went on this episode of Work This Way. Hey everyone, welcome back to Work This Way. Today we are recording in Foundry Pool in Dorset. We are joined by Matt Evans. Matt, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's great to spend some time with you. I see you in as I'm in and out. I'm the everywhere man.
Yeah.
But it's lovely to spend the next couple of hours with you, and looking forward to getting to know you a bit more and getting to know your business, Garden Room Studio.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much.
I know you're a busy man. And you work all over the country, right? So You're in and out, you're growing the business. Tell us a bit about you. How did this all come about? Yeah, roll back a little bit.
So the Garden Room Studio is a lifestyle business. My wife and I run it together. We've been friends since we were 16, and it's an evolution of both of our careers in completely different roles. And it came together on the back of a serviette when we were on our honeymoon. And we were abroad and both pretty fed up with what we were doing, couldn't see a way out of it. So decided to join forces and create something for ourselves that would give us...
What did you do before then, before you got married?
I was working in the marine industry.
Okay. Not the Marines, like everyone else.
Not the Marines, not like everyone else around here.
Yeah.
No, I was working with boats and yachts. So going way back, I studied sport and exercise science. I then got into sports coaching. That evolved into teaching water sports, sailing, that sort of thing, which is how I ended up in pool.
Right.
And then I moved my way out of that and into working with boats, selling charters on boats, on luxury boats, yachts, dealing with high net worth clients, traveling a lot. And that's where I got to and hit my dead end.
Yeah.
Elle's background was in photography, product styling, creation of visual content for big global brands.
Right.
And then she moved and sort of switched tack into interiors, and then worked as creative stylist and art director for a big company who are based up in North London. And they had a massive online presence, and she sort of travelled all over with them, taking care of all of their creative output. So yeah, that's kind of how it all came together.
So it was back of a napkin on a honeymoon.
Yeah. And a passion for horticulture, passion for gardens from my side, but her, years of experience in that industry anyway. So she had the overall vision for what we could do, and I had to go and get myself into a position where I could deliver my half of the deal, if you like. So that involved a postgrad diploma. It involved getting my hands in the soil, learning and turning what I was passionate about, other than kite surfing, windsurfing, all that stuff that I do on the side, turning that into something that we could turn into a business, which took some time.
When was this?
So 2017, we got married early 2018, and it just went from there. Things spiraled. I threw myself in at the deep end, and we were in a bit of a rut with work, and it was now or never.
Yeah.
So I went off and did it, and I was very fortunate that I was, at the time when employed, working from home, so I had the time to do my course, and it was distance
put the groundwork in.
Exactly.
You like that one?
And then I did a bit of work with a local architect, and we worked together on a few bits. He dripped me into some work, and things just took off from there.
Matt, give us the elevator pitch of the Garden Room Studio and how you came about laid-back lifestyle.
So the Garden Room Studio is a one-stop shop. We're a turnkey solution for people that want that laid-back luxury that you've referred to. We take care of garden design, interior design, styling, and can link the spaces together.
So 2017, to get some time in, context here, 2017, 2018, you formed a business, got going. I mean, Christ, 2020.
Yeah, difficult time.
Yeah.
So we were starting to get going. Things were going well. The architect I was working with, who's super local still, we still work together now, which is really nice actually. Both been on very similar journeys. He was introducing me to various bits of work, and it was a really nice place to be. And then, as we know, everything turned south. But I was super lucky to stumble into a client. I think it was literally 3 weeks before the COVID pandemic really hit us. It was in the news, but things weren't dire at that point. And then when we had the announcement about lockdown, I just agreed to do some work with them. They moved down from London to be in their home down in Poole, and we're still working with them now. So, I mean, they have been instrumental in me starting the business, retaining our business through COVID, and scaling our business long term. And there are various reasons for that.
Terrifying at the time, though.
Yeah.
You
horrendous.
just formed the business 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
You're just getting going. 2 years in, you're barely off the end of the runway, aren't you, at that point?
Yeah,
wow.
And we had a baby on the way. We had no back on our house. We were in the middle of renovating.
Yeah.
It was a really difficult time.
An interesting point around down from London's.
Yeah.
So DFLs, as I call them.
Yeah.
Poole in particular, Eastbourne we know as well. Coastal towns through COVID, through the pandemic, had a real resurgence because people were moving to the coast for lifestyle, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Poole in particular saw a real, what's the word, infestation of Londoners.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we had I think post-COVID was like boom time for us, and a lot of the local, people that look after people's properties, it was crazy. Agents were selling. You had designers working on projects that, would never have been on the cards. The construction industry was booming. Trades were looking for staff. You couldn't find anybody that was any good to do anything. It was really busy. And we just rode that wave.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And really, it's only been the last 8-9 months that started to slow down.
Right.
And it certainly has now. But at the time, I mean, COVID was horrific, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
For various people, but for the business, it was sort of instrumental in scaling what we could do.
Every cloud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of our foundries seem to be near water. I think Bromley, one of our most recent ones, we're going to name Bromley by Thames. One of the things that has come out of the chat with you is that you're in the marine industry. Were you on super yachts like Adam Howie and Ryan Branson and all the other guys that we've spoken to on Work This Way?
Unfortunately, no. And maybe I'd have stuck with it a bit longer if I had been. So I had two what I would call proper jobs in that industry. Once I got out of kind of doing the fun bit, so being on the water all the time. One was working in brokerage and sales, but a lot of the time I was sat behind a desk in Poole down at the shipyard. I won't mention where that was and who that was with, but it was, it was very much a Poole-based job. But I was dealing all the time with the med, and we were travelling quite a bit, but there was very little time. I probably count the time on two hands in the years I was there that we got to do anything particularly exciting. And the second was far more client-facing, but incredibly stressful. And you'd envisage, walking onto a boat at the Monaco Yacht Show and having a glass of champagne in your hand and doing these lovely things, when actually in reality I was going to a shipyard in Naples wearing a hard hat and steel toe cap boots because I was problem solving and project managing and
not
checking
all
quality control.
Not as glamorous as perhaps.
So, not quite as glamorous, particularly when it was like 40 degrees in July and
someone shouting at you.
Yeah. So it kind of, it's that old adage, isn't it? You turn your what you're interested in into a career. Sometimes it flips on its head completely.
It doesn't always work.
And I've had to be really careful in what we're doing now to make sure.
Yeah, because horticulture was a genuine interest of yours, right?
Yeah, passion.
Yeah.
And
you're making that work.
You're making it work, yeah. And the business is quite multifaceted.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I'm marketing, I'm managing projects.
But you're getting your hands in the soil still.
Yeah, 100%.
Matt, you're an Essex boy.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah. What brought you down to Poole?
University in Southampton, an ex-girlfriend, and the draw of the beautiful coastline down here.
Your first job down here?
Teaching windsurfing.
Amazing.
And water sports at Sandbanks.
Oh my God. How old were you then?
I would have 21.
Living the dream.
2021. I did it through last couple of years of uni and then came on and carried on.
Living the dream on in a beach.
Yeah.
I suspect.
Yeah, pretty hard to turn away from.
Bournemouth back then, absolutely incredible.
Unbelievable.
Sadly, not the case at the moment, but it'll come back.
Yeah. There's a lot of work going on in that front, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, at the time, Bournemouth was just boom time. Great night out, great friends, no responsibilities, no kids, no mortgage. Good
What
times.
a laugh it must have been.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Matt, the light bulb moment for starting the business with Elle was on your honeymoon. But what was the moment what was the turnkey moment?
Yeah, so we had this idea of this sort of creative one-stop shop that we wanted to create. And I was still employed full-time. I was working for a company. No plans to really step back from that role. The business just wasn't there, although we'd started doing some work and I was juggling plates and, spinning plates, and thinking about, how we could exit that job. It wasn't the right time. And then the company I was working for were bought out by an American company, and we were all called in, as you are. And there was this conversation around the team, the senior team, around, what everybody's job role was going to become. And I just thought, this isn't me. I don't agree with any of it on a moral basis, but two, on a kind of long-term plan. There's no, I don't want to be here anymore. So I remember walking out of that meeting, spoke to my then senior. There was only one person that sort of worked above or with me in the business. And I'd made up my mind within 5 minutes of leaving that meeting.
You just knew
that was it. And then I suddenly had that thought, right, how am I going to do this? How am I going to move out of this business and support my newborn baby that was due within 3 months? Get all of those ducks in a row. Finish the extension on our house and pay the mortgage. So I got in the car, drove back from Norwich, which is where the office was. Stopped at my mum's for a cup of tea. There's nothing better.
In Essex?
Yeah. So great Dunmo. She's at the top of the M11.
It's out by where my
Pulled
son
in
lives.
on the way back from Norfolk. Had a cup of tea with mum. Chewed the fat, as you do with your mum. And then got on the M25 and spoke to Elle. And that was it. And the next day handed my notice in.
Do you think, looking back now, almost divine intervention that happened, because that then gave you 2 years before COVID?
Yeah, exactly.
To get your business off the runway.
Yeah.
Your startup off the runway.
Yeah. And those, as everybody that's done it or is going through it or who listens to this knows, those first 2 years, you're doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still am to an extent, but those first 2 or 3 years are really formative in defining where you end up being in your business and what that job role becomes.
Matt, when the Americans bought the marine business that you worked for at the time, what was that moment? What was the real driver for you to pull the ripcord?
I think it was a realization. There are two things: realization that I had no place in that business long term.
No place in that business.
Yeah, but also that prior to that happening, there'd been an unfortunate death in the family. My uncle passed away, and my cousin, who again worked for a multinational company and was stuck in it, and I both sat down and talked about how fed up we were in our jobs. So we both left them at exactly the same time.
Inspired each other almost.
I don't know. He had his own motivations.
Yeah.
Completely separately from losing his dad. But we're a super close family, and I think that really gave me that life's too short moment.
Yeah.
What's it all about?
Yeah.
Why do you go to work every day? What's your purpose? My purpose was not to kind of provide for somebody in America that I'd never met before.
Not get shouted out of the shipyard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it had to suddenly become something that was meaningful to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to get out of bed and do it anymore in the morning. And that was as much of a motivator as the fact that the job wasn't going anywhere, if not more so.
So Matt, it's 2017, 2018. You've both quit your jobs. You're at home. You're working together. What did you do on day one?
I think we very quickly had to identify what our USP was.
Yeah.
So, who's our customer? What are we going to offer them? How do we find them? How do we interact with them? That was difficult. Elle was actually still employed for a lot longer than I was. So she actually carried on with her job until, I'm going to say 2022.
Right.
So she managed to keep it going.
Yeah.
She had a maternity leave, which
right.
was obviously really fortunate. And then worked a little bit after that, after we had our first child. And then we got to a point where she was in a position to be able to step back and work full time in the business with me around the kids.
It's often challenging working with your partner. What would you say Elle's perception is of working with you? A spin on its head.
I'd like to think that she thinks that where we've come from has just been down to sheer determination and hard work on my part. It's a real juggle managing that, shut the door, get into dad mode. Now we've got the kids.
Yeah.
All of that. Put the phone in the bowl, ignore it until the next day. It's really difficult. I think from my point of view, she's been an absolute rock when things get tough. And there have been days where you question why you're doing it. Is it worth it? And I still get that now. Why are we doing this? Is it really worth all the aggravation? But right the way through that, she's fully had my back. Every decision that's made, we'll question it. Sometimes it has to be at 9 o'clock in the evening because we've now got 2 kids. But we'll sit down, work things through and discuss things. And that's just really nice, having that sounding board. And if you are doing it on your own, I don't think you get that. So yes, it's hard juggling work life. But if you've got someone in your corner who has the same goals in life as you, it's like having 2 of you working on it all the time, even if she's not in the business constantly. And for me, that's just been massive.
Well, that's really positive.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And humble.
Thank you.
Matt, you are also a pillar in the community because I witnessed it last week when we were doing a Foundry 5 in Poole, and I was down at Branksome Chime at Rockwater, our friends at Rockwater. And for those of you who don't know, Rockwater is a banging beach location in Poole and in Hove, where we have got another foundry. And we were all drinking pints and very happy with ourselves after we just completed our 5K run. And Matt was going down to the beach to teach kids how to swim and save lives. Tell us a bit about what you do with that and your life outside of the business.
Yeah, cool. So we've already talked a bit about my background and my interests outside of work, so water sports, surfing, all that stuff. And as the business has become more all-consuming, I've had far less time to do that. And then you throw your 2 kids in the mix and everything else that goes on as you get to our point in life. It's just been really hard to make time to get down there. And I completely lost touch with my kind of why. Why did I move to Poole? Why did I want to live by the sea? Why don't we just live in Essex where all our family are? And it'd be a lot easier with 2 kids. So a few friends of mine and Elle encouraged me to join up with Branksome Lifesaving Club, Branksome Chime. So a charitable trust, but part of Surf Lifesaving GB on a sports basis. And I'm now a level 1 coach. So I help coaching kids, help coach the masters section, which is the adults over 30 age group, in sea swimming, ball paddling, surf ski racing. Compete at the national championships, which are in a couple of weeks' time in August, down in Weymouth this year. Quite often down in clubs in Cornwall and up in
For context, it's like a scene from Bondi Beach on a Tuesday evening at Branksome Chime.
Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's amazing. All the kids are running along and sprinting down to the water and all the kit. And
yes,
it's incredible.
There's 2 sides to it. You've got the sports side and then the life-saving side. The life-saving side is obviously, it does what it says in the tin. It's about teaching water safety, encouraging people to interact with the water carefully, and kids' confidence in the sea. And that goes right up to the adult age group. And then we patrol the beach with the RNLI, evenings, weekends when it's busy. And then on the sports side, it's a competition. I mean, some of the guys that I train with are the fittest people I know.
Matt, Garden Room Studio, 7-8 years old now. How do you see it growing? What is your strategy for growth? And is it regional? Is it southwest? Tell us a bit more about your thoughts on growth.
So we're a lifestyle business, right? So we've not got ambitions to take over the world, have an enormous team of people.
Yeah,
I think that would dilute my involvement in the creative side of the business. And I still love getting my hands dirty, getting on site with our contractors that we're working with Brad, who's our site foreman and plantsman who's out and about looking after gardens and planting all the time. So the bigger we get, the less of that I do. We've tried that, it didn't work. So we've got other ambitions, business-wise, other things going on, other plates that we're spinning on that front. But I think in terms of the studio, the goal is to continue to work on high-ticket projects. What we've really found since the middle of last year is that bottom end of the market in terms of project value has really slowed down, and for obvious reasons, you know, budgets and the economy, it's just become more and more difficult to find those clients. So we've had to strategically go after those higher ticket projects.
Yeah.
And there's only so many of those around. Yeah. So loads of work in BCP, you know, post-COVID, BH13, 14 postcodes, Sandbanks, Camphor Cliffs, really busy, amazing. But that's slowed a little bit. And finding those clients that we want to work with out of that area has become a real strategic move for us, and it's working really well.
Do you go up to London, Bristol? Yeah.
So we've done a barn conversion in Bristol. We're working with a couple of partners down in Cornwall. We've got some really good design and build relationships with contractors now that bring work towards us, and then we reciprocate, you know, on other occasions. So that works really nicely, and that's starting to put us into projects that are all over. So Cotswolds, you know, Oxford, right up in Essex at the moment. I've got a project up in Essex with an architect.
People's perception of Essex, I know it well because my son lives in Epping, the Aidan boys, and I know how rural and beautiful Essex is. It's not all towy.
No.
Tell us a bit more about your upbringing in Essex.
So, really fortunate. It is a lovely part of the world to be. You're really close to London.
Super connected, right?
You know, yeah. And actually, a lot of our friends that still live up there are in centre of London for work every day, and they come in and out. Really well connected, and you've got that. You know, if you don't want to be by the beach, be up there, because you can be in an hour out of Liverpool Street. You know, you're out in the middle of nowhere, which is really nice. So we grew up. Elle had always grown up near Bishop Stortford, out in the countryside, beautiful village. Yeah, right on the borders of Hertfordshire, Essex. You've got Cambridge, half an hour up the road, beautiful city. Places like Chelmsford to go to. You have got the coast up there. It's only an hour up to, like, for
instance. What's Mersey Island?
It's Mersey Island.
With that thing you have to drive through when the tide.
Exactly.
Fred, my son, used to go, Dad, go!
Yeah, get across.
The tide would come over the bonnet of the car.
Yeah.
So Mersey Island. Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a great place, and I grew up fishing. I grew up playing in the garden with my granddad. My gramps was a gardener himself, had a beautiful house out to the back of Braintree, which is a sort of market town up in North Essex. And spent a lot of time in the garden, playing in Epping Forest, playing rugby up at the rugby club, you know, sailing on a small lake near Waltham Abbey. It's like a gravel pit. Broxbourne Sailing Club. Broxbourne,
and
that's how I got Dobbs Weir, if you know it. That's how I got into the water sports stuff, and then I took that, came down to Southampton.
So that transferred down to the coast.
It came down here with me.
Who would have thought all that happens in Essex, right?
Yeah, and
it's
it does.
It's not just Joey in the gang.
No. Because I was you know, sailing during the day in my school holidays and things, which was really fun. And super lucky to be able to do stuff like that as a kid. And then, you know, I'd go and work at Club 195 on Epping High Street.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
Which was like all the West Ham footballers there in the evening.
Back in the day,
and you know, all the celebs that would come in the evening and stuff. And I worked on a cocktail bar, mixing and shaking and
love that,
dancing, and it's great.
It wasn't a big transition from Essex to Bournemouth. It was very similar vibes, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
back then,
actually, it's amazing how many people from that neck of the woods have ended up down here.
Yeah.
You bump into clients and get chatting, and they know people up there, or they've lived up there. And there seems to be a real nucleus of people from Essex that have settled
in and around the coast.
Down here. I think it's just that, not quite as far away as Devon and Cornwall.
Matt, so Garden Room Studios, 7-8 years in, things are picking up. It's great that you're keeping very much in the business, and you're still getting what you need from it, not just commercially, but also from a reward perspective, your passion. It's great to hear that you won an award recently.
Yeah.
And that was BBC Gardeners World Live, right?
Yeah, so we took a show garden to the Spring Fair, which was at Bewley House.
Okay.
was a bit of a strategic move, as we've already discussed. We were trying to promote ourselves slightly out of the area. It's a great opportunity to get in front of people coming down from Surrey and across from Sussex and places like that. So we met so many people, so many lovely people over that weekend, and it was super rewarding just to do something that wasn't for an invoice.
Yeah.
It was lovely, and there was the charitable hook. They got loads out of it. We got tons out of it, and we worked with an amazing contractor. The whole team got involved. It was a real morale booster for everybody after what was a really slow kind of slog of a winter.
Yeah.
After,
Is it a seasonal business?
Last year. Yeah, good question. Not really. So we're always, design we're always working on. So we've always got 5-6 projects on the drawing table at a time, if not more. At the moment, it's a lot more than that. They're all scheduled and organised and divvied out between the team, and we're all working on things between us. And then what follows that is once those have completed, we then go in and do the planting.
Right.
So myself, Brad, and then you had the subcontractor that we're working with will come in and settle the planting out to the drawings, and then we effectively go in and lay the carpet, finish the job. So we're like the decorator that goes in, and we jazz it all up. And on the odd occasion that scope allows, Elle comes in and assists with styling all the furniture, and we supply parasols and the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And that does
Laid
happen
back
from time
luxury.
to time. Exactly. And that's the turnkey solution, right? So that's where it works really well. That project for us was just get everyone together, do something completely different.
Were you on the telly?
We did a lot of work to camera. They didn't show it on the Friday night programme on BBC, but
on Gardener's World.
They did show it on Gardener's World, but they're still drip feeding us content from it, so it's been fantastic.
Yeah,
for
great.
us. We did some BBC radio stuff.
And did you meet Monty?
Good. Not Monty, but Carol Klein,
And
who is just lovely.
lives up to.
Yeah, she was awesome.
And in your world, I mean, these are like rock stars, right?
Monty Don, all these people. And
do you go to Chelsea?
Yeah, we do. I actually assisted an amazing team from Holland Green Landscapes at Chelsea this year. So we did our show garden at BBC Gardeners World Live, and then went up and worked with Rose, Mark and Josh from Holland Green on their trade stand. They did a big trade stand for a company called Blue Forest Tree Houses. Amazing company.
You get a kick out of that?
And that was an experience for me. And I'm not going to go into details, but it's leading on to other things that we're doing next year. So
that's great.
Really exciting.
And it's Chelsea. I've never been. Love to go. I know where to come and shake you down with some tickets.
Yeah, I mean, show gardens are a love-hate thing.
Yeah,
they're not real gardens.
Right.
So the planting's very dense. The chances of ever finding a client that's got the budget to do some of the things that you see in a show garden are really unusual. And some people still have the perception that they're not great for the environment because we put them in and then we rip them out and take them away.
What happens at Chelsea? Do the gardens get repurposed? Can you really repurpose?
Well, it's a prerequisite now. So if you're taking a garden to an IHS show, it has to have an onward story. More often than not, there's a charity involved or a hook that means that garden or the planting from that garden is picked up and taken back somewhere else. So everything has an onward journey from the.
I find it fascinating watching Gardener's World, the dog garden that Monty did.
Yeah,
I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and I think you're right. That was all about repurposing that garden, the whole garden.
And they just launched it last week at Battersea Dog Home.
That's right,
next to Battersea Power Station. So everything has an onward journey from that show.
So Gardener's World's a staple in your eyes.
Yeah, if
you're not had enough by 8 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, it's a great one to fall asleep to.
Yeah, as soon as he comes on.
Yeah,
hello,
it's amazing,
and welcome to Gardener's World.
Yeah, and I remember watching that with my granddad when I was younger.
Yeah,
so it's a real firm one for them.
Have you ever been to Longmeadow?
No, never been. They do take volunteers on though. I think if you can get in touch with the right people, you can head up there and have a look at it. Yeah.
Matt, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received whilst running the business?
I think, there's been a lot from various different people. I think something that somebody said to me fairly recently actually has really resonated with me, and it's just keep showing up. When you've been up all night and you just want to sit and have a coffee and put the news on in the morning, get to work, get on with your day, things work themselves out. And if you sweat the small stuff constantly, the big stuff doesn't happen. And that all sounds a bit cliche, but It's 100% true.
It does all come out in the wash.
It does. And there's, another one, like, there's no such thing as a problem. There's challenges, and it's how you deal with those things. So staff or, client issues and budget problems and things like that. It's all just circumstantial stuff that when you're running a busy little business, they all crop up. And you can very easily let them cripple you, and it all comes crashing down around you. But actually keeping a level head, maybe just rather than driving in, walking to work. I did it last week. I was going to get in the car and drive in, and I didn't. I walked across Whitecliffe Park from where we live, around the harbour, just a bit of fresh air.
Yeah.
Took an extra half an hour, and I came in and just solved the problem before it even got to my desk.
Analysis paralysis.
Exactly.
It's such a
and I think
killer.
Being down here, we're quite lucky that we can do that.
Yeah, the open space.
Yeah,
see air.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get it. You see, obviously the limited time I get to spend here, but when I am here, I do try and get out and spend time with members and people and friends.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people on the promenade, walking and talking.
Walking, talking, swimming.
A lot of business meetings get done walking here.
Swimming is just the best thing in the world for everything. I've solved probably every problem I've ever had by, not necessarily in the sea, but just getting in the pool and swimming backwards and forwards.
Matt, I've seen firsthand people working together, partners working together. My mum and dad worked together for forever. And my childhood was ups and downs, watching them go through their struggles, and actually founding story of my business has always been around that experience that I had as a kid. And when we started Crate and so pre-Foundry, it was all about creating a workspace or a community at the time, the big C word that was out there through WeWork, community, where like-minded business owners, entrepreneurs could be in one place, feed off of each other, buy off of each other. It would help to prevent a lot of loneliness in entrepreneurship. It is a lonely place at the top of a business. But when there's two of you, I can totally see the value, bouncing stuff off each other. But give us some tips for people starting out that are in a similar situation to you and Elle. I guess there's got to be boundaries.
Yeah, I think you've also got to have really solid foundations. So we've known each other since we were 16, right? So, like, going to all our friends from school's 18th birthday parties. Elle was there with her group of girls. I was there with all the boys that I was friends with. We went on, like, group holidays when we were 18. My 18th, I spent it on an island in Greece with all my mates from the rugby club and from school. And Elle was there with all the girls at the same time. We weren't together at that point, but that's the kind of background we've got together. So, I'm really lucky that we've known each other for that long. Obviously, we went apart, came back together again in our early 20s, but I think those foundations are really key.
Day to day.
Yeah, day to day, thinking about what the end goal is and staying on track. So we've got like a vision board for kind of where we want to be in life. And that's quite visual because, like we do for a client, we've put that together in terms of...
Like a dream board.
The house, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house. Yeah. And the house, what the kids are going to be doing, what they're going to be interested in. The kids have got to have a thing. What's their thing going to be? They don't have to come and work for the business one day. It's probably one of the last things they're going to want to do by the time they've lived with it for 18 years. But, making sure that we're all on the same page. And if at any point we're not, we talk about it. Right, do we need to change what we're doing then? We had a wobble a little while ago, with where we were living. Do we want to live in town still? Why don't we move out to Wimborne? A bit more space for the kids. Property's a bit cheaper, all that stuff. Yeah. You've just got to talk about it, and it then informs what you do for work.
Do you think everyone should have a dream board, Matt?
I think it's sensible. Yeah,
just
I don't see why not.
Have that North Star.
Yeah,
hidden away somewhere.
Yeah, an end goal. But you can't be too fixed on it. Like anything, you've got to be able to adapt and react to change things that get thrown at you.
It doesn't have to be a 300-foot super yacht, right?
No, not at all.
It's the little things that are important.
And little by little becomes a lot.
Yeah.
Things will happen if you keep going.
Yeah.
And that's very much the trajectory that we're on together. So if we can keep working towards that goal, then that's all we're trying to do.
And boundaries, home.
Yeah, boundaries. I think since that, I mean, they were blurred, right? So when we didn't have the kids, it was work.
Of course.
And I'd get in, and you have to at the beginning, and I still
You mentioned putting the phone in the bowl.
Yeah. So
does that really happen?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So daughter started school in September, and we have this crazy, as people who've got kids will know, you have this crazy time when you get in from work from sort of 5:30 till they go to bed, where the house is upside down, the dinner's on, you're trying to talk about your day, we're trying to talk about work, we're trying to talk about her day at school. My son's 18 months old, he's tearing the place apart, running around going, Daddy, you know. And it's great. That's what family life's all about, and that's why you have kids. So to then have a distraction, like an email come in, and you're trying to stand there on your phone in the kitchen replying to it, or you get your laptop out to look at a drawing revision that someone sent you or something stupid like that, you just think, no, that is not how we're going to do it. So beginning of the year, after school time, until the kids are in bed, phones go away completely. They're on loud, in the hall, in a bowl. Done. I've now got a work phone and a personal phone. Right. Personal phone doesn't have any social media on it at all. Yeah. It doesn't have any emails on it at all. So it is, all I have on there is my music. So if at the weekend I want to listen to whatever when I'm in the car, and it's a phone and a camera, and that's it. Yeah. And it is
that's an interesting
transformational.
Tip.
Just headspace.
Yeah. It's a dumb phone
Focus
almost.
on the kids. Yeah. It's like an old phone, but it's got a great camera on it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's just for my own headspace, it's been amazing. But for the kids, I just think, again, it sounds a bit cliche, but more present, less distracted, more fun, and more in the room all the time. And I think that's hopefully going to be something that we can carry on with.
How do you manage those emails late at night when you pick up the phone and it just changes your entire mindset because it's a negative email? Yeah. You know, and then you can't sleep, and the knock on is for days after that.
Yeah, and it just gets worse and worse because then one of the kids is up at 4 a.m. and you've got that to deal with as well. And yeah, it's really hard, isn't it? It's a good question. I think having those boundaries in place for me, as at the moment, as the one who's front and centre in the business, I'm having to, because I can't offload on her all the time because she's not working constantly. It's really, really important that I can squeeze those things into succinct periods of time. So I do not look at anything between. I probably won't look at my emails in the evening unless I absolutely have to. If I know I've got work to do, then I'll get back into it. And then I have to park it, so it'll be go out for a walk, listen to a podcast, watch a film before I go to sleep, go for a run, go for a swim, do something that switches me off, and that's really important.
I need to learn from you there, man. I'm absolutely terrible at it.
Yeah, but I don't think there is a way of doing it if you work for yourself. I just think that's just part of it, isn't it? I think it's just about managing.
Is that the trade-off?
I think so. I think it is, and it's taken 7 years to get to the point where I'm now able to manage it, but it's hard, and everyone deals with it. So I think it's just about having a few tools that you can lean on to help you manage that.
Matt, thanks very much for coming on Work This Way.
Thanks for having me.
It's been lovely to spend time with you. We've all really enjoyed this episode. Loved learning about the work you've done with Gardeners World. And the fact that you are a pillar in a community, you put back. I like the phrase, not chasing the invoice. Tips on how to work succinctly with your partner with boundaries. That's been really interesting. Hopefully Elle agrees with everything you said. Yeah. And yeah, it's been great. It's been really lovely and very honest, and thank you. And I'm sure there's lots of takeaways that our listeners, network and members will get value from this. Matt, how do our listeners, network members get in touch with you personally?
So if you want to reach out, you can catch up with me on LinkedIn. I'm fairly active on there. I really enjoy engaging
and you're Matt
with
Evans.
Everybody from here. Yeah, it's just Matt Evans.
And then the business, the Garden Room Studios website.
So website's thegardenroomstudio.com. It's fairly straightforward.
And you're on Instagram?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, the Garden Room Studio again. So everything's linked up. There's a link from bottom of the website to our Instagram feed. So yeah, please do reach out and get in touch if you want to collaborate or work with us on anything.
Perfect. Matt, thanks very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. all the best with what you're up to. All the best with the move.
Thank you.
You've got a lot going on in your personal life.
Yeah,
so
there's some things happening.
Yeah, but and look forward to following your journey. So there you have it. Leave your phone at the front door in a glass jar on loud. Make time for the family, have some discipline, and make memories away from work. I respect Matt for his business growth and also his personal life. Thank you for joining today, Matt, and I look forward to following your future journey with the Garden Room Studio.